No, absolutely not. You can't touch anything. You shouldn't even move a finger. Why? I just warmed it up in the morning. I go to the car, not on a warmed up one. I put it on this record, and it played for me in a way that it doesn't even play during the day with the battery.
So, about the outlets, you say you have special ones. Is there a difference?
Yes, it does. This device has a huge impact. Acoustic 3.7. This is definitely a super device.
How much does it cost?
A record is a record. So this is the Agnetka. It sounds better on vinyl than on CD.
You definitely haven't seen anything like this anywhere. 16 amp fuse. Hi-fi. Tuning. A separate cable that goes into the apartment. Look how thick it is. Grounding. Everything is done to ensure that the sound in the apartment is perfect. And now let's take a look at the owner who did all this and what kind of system he has. Friends, I almost forgot. This is golden cardus, dear friends. Hello, Viktor Mikhailovich. Greet you. Thank you for inviting me over. Friends, this isn't my first time here at Viktor Mikhailovich's. I'll just call you Viktor, because we've known each other for a long time. And I want to say right away, the little things are important to me. A room, an apartment of a true serious audiophile. Why? Because there's a pair. Because there are pull-up bars. You see rings. A person is developing in all aspects. And that's a success. Let's go take a look, Viktor Mikhailovich. Show us your super cool stereo system. A huge number of little details and technical refinements. And all this is done to ensure that the sound is as correct, high quality and cool as possible. I'll put it this way. You are quite a well-known person in our city among audiophiles. There are people who invest millions of rubles into their systems. Their budgets are absolutely limitless. And yet they still can't achieve great quality sound. Viktor is known for the fact that with relatively modest budgets, even though we see a griffin here, I think you've gotten the most out of this room. The maximum and even a little more. Yes, it's expensive, but not as much as your system plays. So, please tell ordinary people, the average folks, how you went through this journey. Do little things like these pyramids make a difference? Can I take it?
Of course, you can.
These additional high frequencies, such as this thing that makes your sound even richer, and these cables and various types of bass traps, including these pyramids and other elements. How did you come to this,
But let's start with this, shall we? So the purchase basically happened at the rack. This is American. I can't remember the name, but it was a long time ago, about 15 years back. Before, I had equipment that wasn't Griffin and wasn't this equipment. Before, I had Copland, I had Laxman 505, 507. We know it was... Yes. So the equipment was completely different back then. Why did you move away from the Japanese sound? Well, for some reason, I don't know. Still, I somehow like Griffin more. I think it's more natural. It's more... Well, I can't say it's like Macintosh Punch or something like that, but it's more restrained and more accurate, and it really has a taste for music, you know, a taste for music. Let's put it in Russian terms. A taste for music. It has that sense of taste. So it's very discerning, detailed. My amplifier is pretty ordinary. I bought it in Diablo Sono Vinci. No, Diablo, I have an ordinary old Diablo amplifier. Scorpions. 260 watts per channel. 260 watts per channel, yes. I also have an old Scorpions. This is our turntable, the Magnet from 2019, from the exhibition model 990. It's an ordinary turntable, but the cartridge is very expensive. The cartridge is a Dunavox V1. The cartridge is a Dunavox V1. How much does it cost? Well, as of today, it's probably around 1 million.
1 million rubles, just like that. A serious approach. But pay attention to the amplifiers, to the range.
Yes, the topper and these are everywhere. This is essential for eliminating resonance. Under no circumstances should you place it on the front panel, as some companies recommend. It should be placed at the back, in the center, or at the rear. Absolutely not.
Can I look?
Yes, you can, please. So it's only the resonance that's being eliminated from the front ones, just like with Cole-Ray. The same thing, it's specifically eliminated from the front part of the speakers. So if you push them back here, the mid-range sound will be pushed back here. If you push them out here, the mid-range will come out here. So there will be jazz, a vocalist, anyone standing in front of your speaker.
Please note that even your levels is important.
Well, the level should definitely be set. All the equipment should be standing, yes. It should be at the right level. Approximately at the level, I can't say for sure, like 100%. Well, at least approximately, yes. So it should be at the right level, yes.
All right. Tell me about the acoustics. Why KEF?
KEF Acoustics, reference 3.2, England. In 1996, I went to a company, Tsvetnoy Boulevard in Moscow, where they were trading at Nikolay's. When I walked in, they had sets with Kamichi, and there were KEFs standing there. The entire KEF set was there at that time. And when I heard the 3.2, well, there were other selections too, and when I heard the 3.2, I was stunned. And I realized that these speakers were just right for my room and my flooring, and they are still here to this day. Well, I'm very satisfied. Yeah, it's not hardcore rock or anything, but everything else plays really beautifully. It plays really beautifully, yes. So, I'm not saying that it can play Metallica super well, although it can handle Metallica just fine, as well as Manowar and K-Septi, it plays everything well. That is, the guys come, they have equipment, clips, everything they come, but they have a complete mess there. I set them up here, everything is clear, perfect. Yes, maybe there is a lack of micro punch, that's super low end, but these speakers are designed for 36. Well, 36, I don't think they give out, well, 40 they give out. Well, whoever claims that, it's clear that maybe the equipment can't handle it, right? Up top, there are Tannoy Tweeters, the 200s.
Why were they installed?
Well, first of all, it results in a more spacious sound, more of a sphere, and the highs are more refined. Those little micro details, the micro nuances of the speakers, the subtle rustling, like with the guitar, where you can hear the fingers moving along the fretboard, you can catch all of that right away.
But they're expensive, Victor.
Well, now they're expensive, yes. I used to get them for around 55,000 rubles.
And now they're
probably around 200 something. Well, it's a noticeable thing, yeah? The QED cables are coming. The QED single core cable is coming. Yes, the QED single core cable fits. It connects there. And let's see where they connect. To the high frequency part. Yes, it connects. No, absolutely not. You can't touch anything. You can't even move a finger. Why? You can't touch anything. I believe that engineers from any company, no matter what company it is, any company, regardless of MCF or anything, these things shouldn't be touched at all. Not just there, but at all. So it's forbidden by God. That's it. So the guys in the lab, specifically in the acoustic room, worked all of this out. They phased everything. To be honest, I tried putting decorative audiophile gauze here. Well, I thought would have more bass. I think there was more there, but the airiness disappears right away and it becomes boomy and that's it. When you open it, the speaker starts to breathe fully. There's branded foam there, a spacer tube, and two 16cm speakers. One hits here at 16cm, the other goes there. They'll say one at 16 centimeters, the other goes there. What is that? Well, so this is on the sound cars, on the gold ones, on the sound cars. So the stands definitely under the speakers. I have the stands. Yes, the stands, it definitely has to be on spikes. Yes, on spikes for Nordost. Tauk, that's the first thing.
But I remember when I was at your place a few years ago, Victor, you had Nordost speakers here.
Yeah, I don't know why I left.
I still have them.
No, I'm saying it again.
But Tauk works great.
I like Tauk more. It took away some of the sibilance in the highs for me. So, made the music richer. With the Nordost, you could listen to the entire composition from start to finish at a very low volume. You need to turn up the volume a bit on the Tauks. So you turn up the volume and the whole score of that sound rises. So, well, like the Tauk more. Maybe it suited me more. I can't say to each their own.
They work differently.
Yes, they work differently. But I'm more interested in this. For some reason, once, with your help, I also had the 32nd. I bought myself the 35th, yes, a primer. I was thinking about which phono preamplifier to buy, whether to buy it or not, but I bought 35th. This is an old one I bought a long time ago, the 5007. Home theater, Blu-ray, and Marantz. Well, I think it's enough for my room, which is 19.7 square meters. Home theater, Blu-ray, and Marantz. Well, I think 19.7 square meters is enough for me. Well, what's there? And over there in the back, we have the RL Britannia 3 subwoofer. So it's a magnificent device. Let's take a look now.
I know why Victor has a Marantz, because look, friends, you see, here's the picture.
Yes, but we're going to take it off now. I was at the exhibition all day, almost the whole day, with a little guy.
Kenny Shivata.
A legend. A respected man, Kenny Shivata. We've really become friends. What do you think about him? I'm really a person like that. From God. Truly from God.
I've read a lot, but unfortunately I didn't get to meet him.
Yeah, I think, honestly, if you really look at it, if we're talking about hi-fi, if you're not listening to really heavy music, then Marantz is just amazing equipment. I agree, just amazing equipment. Get a good expensive Marantz equipment. It sounds amazing with Vena acoustic speakers. Sony Faber will sound just superb. And there's no need to complicate things. Tell me about this person. I was on vacation in Poland, And at Lake Chertinov, there's a haunted castle there. Well, they even showed it on travel shows. Who is this person? He played with Joe Cocker. He played in the band Pink Floyd. He played with Paul McCartney. 71. And I have a poster with his autograph. Here he signed a record for me. The record is with me. And here I am standing with him. Amazing Western musicians. I can't say anything bad about them. Henry McLeod, Joe Cocker, McCartney, Pink Floyd. It was an amazing blues band. I can laugh, honestly. I can show you the price. At that time, it was 15 zlotys. 15 zlotys is on 50 rubles. At Gorbushka, tickets were 1,200, 1,500, 1,800 rubles. So what do you think? How did the guys perform there? 700 rubles. So do you think that's how the guys got picked up there? I mean, I don't know. The old timers, these musicians, it's just, so I'm saying they just play for pennies. They play for pennies. Here's a person and a legend.
In essence, yes, a legend.
This is a legend who played in Pink Floyd, who played guitar for Joe Cocker, who played with Paul McCartney. Even Paul McCartney, he even sang backup. And that's already a legend.
By the way, here are the Beatles.
Yes, yes. So you already say that this is a legend. Well, the Beatles are kind of...
Mainstream, but still.
Well, I love the Beatles, but not to that extent. Kiss, Black Sabbath. Yeah, Kiss, Black Sabbath, Cross. Cross, of course, is an amazing record with my favorite drummer, Koza Pavel. This is my favorite drummer. I think he's just matched in hard rock. I just love Cozy. I really adore him. I have all his records.
Sting.
Well, Sting, yes, yes. Sting, well, why? Well, Sting, good stuff, yeah.
Remember the movie Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels? By the way, he played the father there.
Well, my favorite record, it's right here in the cases. Well, here's the top, accordingly. This is it. Well, you can hang up a lot of posters, but the room just doesn't allow for that. Yes, to forget all that there. Well, that's the point.
What do you think about Alice Cooper?
Well, Alice Cooper is a handsome guy. I can't say anything else.
I didn't like him as a kid, heard him in school.
Yeah, I don't really get his early albums. Maybe it's just because I was born in that time. I don't quite understand them. But his later stuff from the 90s, from 87, 86, of course, yeah, that's Alice Cooper. That's my jam. But again, it's a matter of taste. You know, it depends on what people like.
Tell me about this thing. You have a large collection of CDs, right?
No, it's just that it's ultra... No, I get that. Yeah, it really warms up the record.
Here.
Yeah, many...
Let's just take a look. Let's simply turn it on and see how it works.
You put the record on and it plays...
A record.
Yes.
Well, let's put it on. Let's turn it off.
It's better to have a CD record with better sound quality, meaning to remove the static from it. So it kind of warms up, fairy tales or not, believe it or not. There was a show on YouTube in Studio 301 or 601 or 901. So the guys were sitting around discussing 901, but the guys were sitting around discussing, yeah. They kind of opened it up, broke it apart, looked inside, saw that there were magnets all around, some kind of circuit, and they said it was complete nonsense. That's it. I can't say it's complete nonsense, not complete nonsense. Do you feel it or do you not feel it? But when you warm up this disc and put it on the equipment, then yes. I even tried warming up this disc, well, warming it up, spinning it, so to speak, and bringing it to the car, and I put it in, and I found it funny to laugh. I just warmed it up in the morning, and when I got into the car without it being warmed up, I put that record in, and it played like that for me. It doesn't even play during the day with the battery. Just like that. Let them believe whether they do or not. The engineers came up with it, so it should work. So it works. Here she is spinning the record, warming it up. How long does it take? Somewhere around 2-3 minutes. Well, Victor, it will stop by itself. And what's the next thing? Next, we have just an amplifier for the headphones. For the headphones and the headphones themselves.
Well, as next are the clocks.
Yes. No, that's not it. It's just a box to watch. Android, 3,000 channels. Yeah, Android, yeah. Yeah, that's it. This is the central channel, the KEFs.
You have a movie theater here, as you can see.
Yeah, in front is the KEF, and behind is the silver shield, right? This power strip, Belkin 50, is just for the clock. For the device. So you don't use it for stereo. Yeah, definitely not for stereo. Me too. Why not? Before, when I didn't have much money, I used it, but I realized that it's purely digital, and it stifles the dynamics, even though it has two outlets. One and the second outlet is made to be direct, but it's all nonsense. It doesn't work. I tried a bunch of different devices, tried everything, and still ended up sticking with the old Les Speedy 400. That's it. I tried out a bunch of devices on my own, tried everything, and still ended up sticking with the old Les Speedy 400. That's it. The American Les Speedy 400 has 2 ferrite rods, and on these ferrite rods, there are low-frequency filters, and they are connected to the outlets. Nothing else can be done. That's it. Nothing else is needed. It should be almost everything connected directly. Digital cascades there, I don't remember, capacitors, coils, so very little of that too. Very little. So basically it's all like that.
But you have the cable going separately, like...
Well, the cable is going, 2.5. And yeah, it's 2.5 for me.
Did you notice it right away when you installed it?
Yeah, and I have 2.5 going to the speakers. Well, you can take a look at the back there.
Let's take a look at the back of the audiophile system. And notice, friends, how neatly everything is done. That's straps.
So it turns out like this. The speaker cable is 2.5 and it goes into the aluminum box. There are two Furatech sockets here. One is a Furatech Gold, the other is a rhodium. The cable continues, the speaker cable is less speed 400. Well, I'll say it right away. So I have the wires going, these, how is it? The speaker wires are going wired volt Eclipse.
By the way, why word volt? Love Eclipse.
I don't know, I really like it. This is an old company, Stretch Wire. I love stretch wire in general. I just love stretch wire cables for their sound. And I have Eclipse going into word vault, right? I also have Eclipse for the power cable to the turntable. But balanced and interconnect cables from the turntable are only stretch wire crescendo. I just love these wires for their sound. They are neutral, they are very well crafted. Price quality ratio, amazing cables. Just amazing.
Why don't you have a fabric one?
No way. No. No way. That's not for me. Questions are not for me. Have you tried them? Not these cables, no. No way, not at all.
To be honest, I don't trust them either.
I have Cardas power cables here for the amplifier and the CD player. That is, for some reason, I wanted to put in a Cardas. I can't say. The phono preamplifier also has Acoustic Review 1800. The stretch wire is used for the home theater amplifier and the Blu-ray player as well. Again, the Topper Yeti is everywhere on the Lespid. Definitely in front because, no joke, the Toki 25s are underneath on the marble slab. The marble slab is also raised on wooden legs, but still I placed it on the Taoki. They're on Taoki. That is, everything should, I believe, be on Taoki because they are the ones who are putting it out. They are the ones who are killing all this. Well, mine was done in the usual way. That is, there was nothing super there. So I did what I could, yeah. Well, so next I have the receiver, this Acoustic Review one, which it's really interesting. Yeah, that's really interesting. Yes. How does it work? Schumann Generator. Well, the Schumann Generator is considered to be that, yes. This is for music. It's used in musical accompaniments. By the way, all the latest records, all the recent ones, are from a Japanese director, a sound engineer. He only uses records from Sony Music. He works with Sony Music, and he uses these specific setups. Only the U777 speakers. That's where it mentions Carlos Santana, Herbie Hancock, a lot of them. Stanley Clarke, that's exactly it. I just attached it so it wouldn't move. The receiver should preferably be on a regular transformer. And again, no Lespid, no SY. It should have a separate outlet with a dedicated cable. This is a recommendation. The Japanese, so under no circumstances should you plug it into any digital ones. So I have a silver ABB outlet with a nice copper cable laid out, plugged into another outlet, and it's set up just like that. So this is a recommendation from the engineers themselves.
Victor, could you please tell me, are the outlets you mentioned special? Is there a difference?
Yes, they do. Both the Rod and Gold sound different. The Rode sounds richer and has a bit more detail, with those nuances well defined. The Gold sounds a bit richer, but I think it holds back a bit on the bass. That it makes it muddy, but it just seems to restrain it a little. The Rode is more, well, refined. I prefer the Rode, but it's more expensive right away. If the Gold one is, I don't know, around 18 now, then the Rode might cost about 25 right now. Approximately, I'm not keeping track, that right now, yeah. Well, the Britannia 3 subwoofer, it's worth it for a home theater.
It's also made in England, friends.
Yes, the Britannia 3, I mean, it's a magnificent subwoofer. Amazing. For a 20, you can just totally fly away here.
This is the reel that was still like a reel. They made it in England.
Yeah, and I'll say this for the future. I've tried out 5 cables. Honestly, I got caught up with the cables. I thought I'd save money on the cables. I'm not going to buy the Rellos cable. This one is high frequency. It's expensive, 30, 40, 50, 70. It's nearly 100,000. 70 was almost up to 100 grand now. I think, well, it's expensive, it won't work. I think I'll make my own there. I did it later. I also bought those cables from you later. Then I got some Italian cables. And in the end, I just bought the Rellos cable for half the price. And when I turned it on, I realized that those cables were just garbage. Believe it or not, it actually exists. So this cable is meant for Rel, and that's it. I'm so glad. Bought the cable from the guy for half the price. I connected it, and it looked like a regular cable, but it turned out to be a single core. I just looked, yeah, these are 3 single cores, nice single cores, But again, these are single cores. It's not from the Podolsk factory, nor from the Odinsovo factory, or from any factories. This isn't Chilean copper, nor is it some diamonds. They're talking some nonsense. I'm honestly telling you, this isn't my thing. Let them there.
Why don't you believe the people who collect?
No, well, that's just nonsense. It's useless nonsense.
They say they take them from submarines.
No, well, they were made from airplanes, yeah. I went to the guy there, and the technician was at the speaker. He was connecting the mini block cables and turning them on. It's not that there are some high, super high frequencies. The technician with the equipment is just relaxing. He's just relaxing. There's so much there, but there's no musicality, no overtones, no resonance. There's nothing. There is a flat sound there. There is a sound from all these homemade wires. And I say right away, these are two boards nailed to the wall, and a rope is stretched, and panties or trousers are hanging, and this is the sound. That is, everything should be, frankly speaking, everything should be factory made. I don't believe in this at all. And as much as I've heard, well, I can't say, I'll just sharpen my focus a bit. This is a bass trap. I even have them at home. Yeah, I just placed it at the back. It works well, yeah, but I raised it not to 60, maybe around 40, and it picks up some super frequencies, but it works well. I just placed it as simply as possible in the center to capture it. You could have put two there, but guys, I don't have the space. My apartment doesn't allow for it either.
But you have a complicated room.
Yeah. I'll emphasize this again. In all my equipment, first of all, a long time ago, and even now, I changed the fuses. I'll say it right away. This is the first thing, so I even go inside changing the fuses on the preamp, on the transformer, on some standby one. I change all these fuses. All the glass fuses and components, they're all conveniently situated near the trash can, which is located in a location that is easily accessible behind the house. So here I put everything, hi-fi tuning, silver, gold, I put it all in. They're all in the equipment. So it goes away immediately, the sibilance goes away. Processing frequency depth bass. So if there's any equipment, whether it costs 2 million, 17 or 20, you open it up, and if there's a glass fuse inside, that's a skin effect. So this is proven by physics. Maybe it will be there with a gold wire, but it will be empty. So anyway, this little tube will be feeding into the circuit. So until you put in a fuse, the sound...
And why, by the way, don't they install them?
Well, they think it's like power cables. You open up the equipment, for example. You open up any device, even a vinyl turntable, and there lies a computer cable, a thin little computer cable that you just have to plug into the equipment. Yeah, take a look. And just throw it away. That's it. Well, or tie up a mouse or tie up a dog to take for a walk. But under no circumstances should you turn it on. Yeah, so buy a good cable that suits your sound. And listen, enjoy. That's why I also had wires in the Griffin. Well, the computer cables were thick, 2.5 copper. Well, they are just ordinary wires.
But they sell their cool wires. Griffin has a series.
Accordingly, Griffin and even, let's say, Cardas, they immediately recommend, for example, Cocoface. They recommend Cardas. They definitely recommend Cocoface and Cardas because they even come bundled with them. They even come bundled with those wires.
Cables have a huge impact.
Very much, yes. I didn't say anything. So I have this kind of decoupling, a little bit of American cables and acoustic review. So like I have a cable going from the filter, for example, to my 400 Lespid. Well, I set it to 8200 for the phono preamp. Well, how can I put it? A clean and good cable? I can't say anything. Well, maybe I'll put in a different one later. Well, I'm satisfied for now. And the vinyl sounds good, so the CD player sounds pretty good. I'm not saying anything about high-end. You have high-end, yeah, but I just have pure hi-fi, regular hi-fi.
Do you remember the movie with Christian Bale, American Psycho, which, by the way, was based on a famous novel? So, this was the same guy who was in New York, in Manhattan, super cool, well off, and he also had KEF references of a similar type, so the acoustics were top-notch. Well, KEF, they really can't be bad. Victor, how did you buy them? Please tell us.
Well, I actually bought them.
They probably cost a fortune.
Yeah, back then, in '96, they cost around $700 to $800. A one-bedroom apartment cost $3.5, even for $205,000. Well, I can't say how much a two-bedroom costs, I won't lie, but it was something like that, yeah. I bought them purely by chance. The guy was in Belgium, he brought back a Rotel, and these speakers, I listened for a whole year from Vitebsk, a doctor, the chief doctor, and purely by chance I open an ad and see that these speakers are for sale in the city of Vitebsk, so I immediately borrowed some money and got in the car. Yeah, and I took off, had an 8, I went after them, brought them back, and I'm still happy with them to this day. Why don't I want to change them? I won't say that there might be some super highs or super mids or anything like that. I really like that they sound neutral. So, they don't exaggerate the bass, they don't exaggerate the highs at any volume, and they don't exaggerate the mids. But if there's a saxophonist, he'll be standing here, not over there in the corner, like many others. You come in and all the music is in the speakers, like a canvas, as if it's hidden behind a tarp. It should be music. If there's supposed to be a hit or a slap, it should come out, and the bell should ring right here. Or it should even go around the wall. There should be surround sound like Dolby Surround. Or even go around the wall. There should have been surround sound like Dolby Surround, but you need to approach this Dolby Surround sound thoroughly, meaning you have to first tackle the network, replace the fuses in the equipment, and move on step by step. No one wants to invest. Everyone wants to buy an amplifier for $300,000 right now. Let's say approximately, there's no need to change any wires. Buy a Chinese Premier cable, connect it, connect the speakers like those Yamaha 1000 series or whatever is being discussed online. 3,000. Those Yamahas are 5,000. Yamaha, to be honest, is a car on wheels. So it's a car on wheels that's rolling to the dump. Well, this is 35 AC in an improved version. I agree. Well, no offense. To be honest, I don't like it. They somehow praise some speakers over there. I'm not arguing. I have some really nice small Onkyo speakers right now. I don't remember if it's 512 or some 500 series. With amazing sound. Well, excuse me, those speakers weigh almost 10 kilograms each. They are small, but they really do sound great. They have a full rounded sound. They have a rich sound. That is magnificent. And I like that they have a very rich mid-range. So no matter what speakers there are, even when you go to exhibitions, they praise the speakers and you listen. Yeah, I'm not arguing, for example, like the Amati speakers, for instance, Amati, yeah. Or Leveno Acoustic, they also have an amazing mid-range, really good. Yeah, maybe they, for example, are playing with Macintosh systems. You hear, well, it lacks punch, it lacks everything. But still, the mid-range is fine. So they are not meant for that. So KEF speakers, they are not meant for metal or for maneuvering. Although you can listen to whatever you want on them. And since my system is slightly upgraded, it plays just fine. Many people come and say, Vitya, it doesn't sound like that at all for us. There's this sticky kid, huge. He played some kind of buzzing sound for me. It's throwing high frequencies at me and I can't make sense of it. It's like the top is from Technics, the mid-range is who knows what, and I can't even figure out what the bass is from. I agree. So it's unclear. The music should be clear. So the upper drums, you need to listen to the upper drums. The bass drum, it should be a drum. Yeah, there won't be that kind of bass drum here. Punchy. It won't have punch. I'll switch my amplifier to 62.0, right, Rodion? I'll switch it. There will be punch. Well, 68.2.0, sorry, Macintosh. I'll switch to Macintosh, right? There will be punch. Well, again, it's neutral for me. I don't have any regulators, not a single one. Yeah, there are a bunch of regulators there. Yeah, I don't have any. I raise the music. It's recorded like that, approximately. I always do it that way too. Yes, that's approximately. It rises. I could actually go to Macintosh if I had it. I would switch to 6800, right? And I would tweak my super lows. Maybe the speakers here would throw it out for me. The membranes would be right here. Well, we listened to some references in my showroom, 5 meters, and they hit so hard that, once again, I say, my old ones play the old way. Your technology is already a new technology. Let them be narrow, flat, whatever you want. Once again, I say, I like these over 60s, more at the exhibition. Remember when we were at the exhibition? Sixta. Yes, well, those little green narrow ones.
You listen to them there.
No, I'm just saying.
They're awesome speakers. By the way, many audiophiles actually hate them, friends. The LS60 is like buying a ticket, setting it up, and forgetting about it. In terms of sound quality, they're really great.
Yeah, I say it again. I was just really blown away when we were at the exhibition together, approached those speakers and listened. I was just thinking, wow, those columns there. I was just shaken up. Honestly, that shook me a bit. But these are new technologies. Yeah, new technologies are moving forward. That doesn't really say much. I just don't want to part ways, honestly, just a little bit. Well, it's not that I'm old or not old. It's just that I have this design. Floor in the design. Listen, these are little things, all relevant. And it plays a bit hormonally. It plays hormonally in the apartment. And plus, in terms of sound, I wouldn't say it's even in the last place in the city.
Well, let's put it this way. Honestly, I'll tell you, I listened to this system before, and just now, right before we started filming the video, I felt it, Victor. Thanks for setting it up. It plays very harmoniously, really, because the sound is just what you need for a certain, let's say, setup. I love power, I love crazy punch, and very deep bass. There's none of that here, but the mid-range is great, the highs are very clear, and the sound stage is amazing. So you sit down like this in the middle, and again, with the despite. Isn't this like not a unique one, right, Victor? Dynamic Q.
No, I don't think I will. I don't think so. Not EQ, not EQ, not EQ. No, 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 here we already have our own references established.
But nevertheless, again, a step to the left, a step to the right, and the soundstage doesn't fall apart. You're sitting there, and there's really a whole ensemble in front of you. If, I don't know, Shade is singing, you can mentally pinpoint where each musician is standing, where she herself is singing. Wow, this is some high-end stuff, friends, really serious. Even though, right now probably with our money, although I'm a bit lost, this system is still very expensive for you.
Well, really, yeah. I just want to emphasize something. So many people like cover it up, right? With a blanket, for example, or some branded TV. I tried covering it up, but something definitely affects it, you know? Well, yeah, maybe it cleans up a bit, like some dirt in the music. Micro dirt. But again, I don't have any micro dirt here. I'm just saying that maybe we should try making some kind of material like that. Well, I don't know, you were just sitting there listening and you didn't even notice whether the TV was there or not. So even though it's literally right next to you, this little box has a huge impact. Acoustic 3.7. This is definitely a super device.
How much does it cost?
It currently costs 40,000 rubles. And I bought the power supply for 200 rubles.
But it really does have an effect.
Yeah, well, I bought the cable there. It's a bit expensive. Well, that's just nonsense. Well, let's say it's 45,000 rubles. That's it. But it really does have an effect. This is the Schumann Generator. So those who are in the know about physics understand it is installed in music schools. Well, I'm not saying that it's the case with Russian ones, but it's a must in foreign ones. In foreign music schools, it's a must because it's a sound harmonizer. So it removes all those resonances from here, from here, from here, from here, from here. And I'll just say that you don't need any sticks, wood, or anything like that. This one device is enough for us all. So, you think it's not necessary to sit in the room. I just think, once again, if you listen with it and without it, it raises the height to 1 meter 60, 1 meter 80. My friend's is almost 2 meters tall, and he has 250 ceilings. Almost 2 meters, it works better for him. And it stands near the window. In general, it is placed behind the windows, behind the equipment. Well, I just set it up as best as I could. So, well, I looked, it's 1 meter 60 for me.
My friend's 1 meter 70. I don't even have the option not to hit it.
Yeah, it's hard to set it up because it needs to be at 1 meter 60, 1 meter 80 if we can't figure it out. Well, I found this branded stand. I did it like this, just carefully set it up. It's placed at the back, it doesn't interfere. Everything is in order.
And at the back, are you listening to the home theater?
These are old Celestian speakers. This is for the home theater as well.
Can you take off the grill, please?
Yes, please. Yeah, these are those old English speakers. Well, for the home theater, it's behind the screen. For my room, 19.8 is more than enough. That's more than enough. You understand that this is...
And you have panels here, right?
Yes. Let me explain that again. So it happened that back in 96, 98, I went to an Italian company, and they were selling the sound meter, the Italian one inside. And there's a gasket inside. And this is exactly the fabric. This is also audiophile. It's all Italian. I got them in 8 sets. Back then I bought them and went. I went to Domo de Dovo. There's a company there, yeah, in Domo de Dovo. I made them. 8 of these cost. I asked the guys, and they told me, you can do it yourself. It's expensive for us. The picture was 40,000, but it would cost around, I don't remember, 12,000 each back then. I asked the guy to do all of this for me, and he did everything.
Beautiful.
Yeah, he did everything. So it happened that I walked into the store. I had a different sofa here. I walk into the store and look at the color. It just turned out to be the material of the sofa. That doesn't mean anything. It has nothing to do with music. It's just a sofa bed. And it turned out to be a bit harmonic. The guys would come over and I would take down these paintings. It's like a painting. It can be taken down. I was taking down the paintings and the guys were sitting behind. And behind them, the sound was already being reflected. So this wave of reflection was coming from behind. As soon as we hung up the paintings, we hung them up. That's it. The guys are saying, Vitya, what is this? We're shooting again, so we threw them about 3 or 4 times exactly, yeah. This absorption is amazing. First of all, it's beautiful. It harmonizes with these and harmonizes with those.
Maybe you should reach out to the guys who make it themselves.
I think that, I don't know, like, no.
If you hang these up.
You shouldn't hang anything here, definitely nothing on the ceiling. Why? You can buy it. There's a company, Acoustic Research, I think, that makes fuses. She makes panels. Well, I might be mistaken. Maybe I'm wrong about the name. Sorry. Maybe I expressed myself a bit correctly, but I said it. Here they sell the fuses. All these fuses, all these expensive ones, they have panels. It costs 132,000, 6 panels. They create 3-dimensional sound. Very beautiful panels, but the only thing is that they're blue. So 3 are hung on the ceiling and 3 on the walls.
I use acoustic panels myself.
I have all acoustic panels. That's wonderful. Nothing else is needed.
You don't need to bring any wood home. Here it is.
I say again, you don't need to bring any wood home. Wood is only brought in so that when the lights go out, you can heat the stove to avoid freezing in winter. And these, no, it has nothing to do with it at all. I think it's not. Do you think coal doesn't have an effect? No, I don't know what it is at all. I just don't understand. I don't understand the technology. This is if, for example, they showed a technologist, and the technologist specifically told us, like, brought in a ton of mixers, set up microphones, and demonstrated how it all gets dampened, how it all affects. Everything has an effect. It affects, for example, I will take down 2 paintings. It affects this painting of mine. I'll take it down. The sound is affected. It affects, I'll remove, for example, even that Baba Yaga. It still has an effect. Well, I mean, everything here has an effect.
I agree.
Well, I mean, I can't say anything about that.
The details matter.
Yes, it has an effect here. If, for example, you take records, like I already start laughing and hang them up like this so they dangle, and that will be influential. So, that's why the conversation here is specifically about professional sound, you know? I just want it to be right. I'm just being honest. You walk around, you listen, right? I go to everyone, for example, to all the guys, and I say, guys, turn on the equipment for me. They turn it on, and the very first composition with the looping at the high end is like this letter C. When it becomes like the letter C, you immediately assume that the equipment is from the company Technics. All right? You can turn around, get up, and leave. So first you need to find the golden mean. The golden mean will be there, all the other notes will come. There are regulators in the equipment. You can tweak the highs, you can add some more.
Never tweak.
No, I mean, I'm just saying, I'm talking visually. Can it be adjusted? That's not needed anymore. It will rise on its own and it will stand on its own. Yeah, well, I'm saying roughly, you know, I could say, for example, something on the ceiling, something there, well, to spice it up. Well, I'm just saying this visually, but again, something beautiful, decorative, and something that really absorbs you.
Beauty is important to me too.
Yeah. Why? But you were listening to me just now. I had the volume turned up more than halfway. There was some kind of ringing from the ceiling, from the chandelier. And that's because this whole device removes all of that, this sound harmonizer. It eliminates all those reflected signals, so it removes the Wi-Fi. About which at the exhibition the company Magica was talking about the speakers, which the representative was selling, and he was weaving in the Vituses and amplifiers, saying that we don't have those wires, but why buy even those honest wires there? Honestly, I didn't hear that sound on this Magica that costs $1 million.
Well, it's quite specific.
Well, it's specific, yeah. No, I'm not arguing. Maybe it's great equipment. It can play super well. Maybe something needs to be connected there. Maybe there wasn't even any power there. I'm not arguing that these are rooms specifically designed for sleeping. So we didn't have anything there. It was really just about coming in, guys, listening and buying. If you want, come to our showroom and we'll demonstrate quality sound for you. You can bring your records there and listen. I don't owe anyone anything there. So those guys are doing great. God bless them for bringing and showing us the equipment that costs $1 million. You can't hide it because no one is hiding anything.
Magica is indeed a serious brand.
It might not even be with these wires. It could be with some other wires. Maybe there are Smiths or Rakulas there, for example. To set up some monoblocks, for example, visually, let's say to put some old Marantz there, like those one models I remember. There are washers like that with a handle. Remember, I'm just saying, Schumann, they played with those 801 BWs at Panorama. I haven't heard better sound. At that time, there was a Yamaha. Yeah, those 2 monoblocks were standing there, and the 801s were standing there. It played out so well there. Back then, Gennady Prudnikov and I went there. We arrived at Panorama. I was completely shocked when I came out of there. I think the 801s, I know, in Smolensk there are 1 or 2 people, but they don't really play. They don't open up. It's not that they don't play, they don't open up. They simply, the apartment needs to be bigger. He didn't turn it on here. I just sat down. The drum kit was working. The piano was there. It all played jazz. I'm not arguing. There was no metal.
I've been saying this for years, that if you're buying favorites, you need some crazy...
It's serious, yeah, a serious approach. Well, there were MIT oracles standing there, and the interconnect cables were MIT oracles too. It just played out.
What amplifiers were there?
Mid-oracle. Mid-oracle cables, yes, they were.
No, the cables, but the amplifiers?
The amplifiers were high-quality Marantz, either A1 or C1.
These monoblocks?
Yeah, monoblocks. They're old A1. I think that's what they were like. They were about this tall. I haven't listened, to be honest. They are no longer available, they stopped being produced.
What kind of music do you listen to? Favorite artist? Well, obviously Sting, Kiss, ZZ Top.
I can't say
Do you listen every day?
I listen almost every day, yeah. To be honest, I can't even say, for example, depending on my mood. I come in, for example, on the first day, I might listen. Well, let's say I came home from work and listened to Judas Priest. Then it goes on, for example, tomorrow I'll listen to Manowar. Then I'll listen to jazz like Billy Cobham. Then I'll listen to, for example, Sting. I came in and for some reason I got stuck trying to put on the Deepapal concert. I really enjoyed listening to the Deepapal concert by Made in Japan. Then I moved on. I came in, pulled it out. Vio Taverdiev. Well, it's just a fantastic record. Yes, it's specifically on gold and it's Swedish.
And what do people say? That it doesn't matter which record, perhaps a disc from Japan or Russia?
I'll just explain now. I come in, I think sometimes Bravo, I listen with pleasure. And Old Zodiac, and Technologies, and Vladimir Presnyakov, and Shutkin. I mean, whatever comes up, there's also some disco, so whatever pops up. Well, my vinyl collection is just so diverse.
Regarding vinyl, here's a question. So you listen to both CDs and vinyl, I take it? Yes. What do you like more?
It often sounds, honestly, CDs sound better. I just have that kind of setup. So it might not be very expensive. Specifically on vinyl, maybe the vinyl turntable doesn't match something. Although the cables, for example, let's say are tonar on the interconnect. Here, the tonar cables are installed. I believe that a big clamp is definitely not a good idea. Why? Well, I don't know. I don't like the sound because all these clamps, which are heavy, they all dampen the sound. When you press down on the sound, the record gets pressed and the sound ends up a bit flattened, like it's coming from the speakers. First of all, I have a tonar too. Here's the tonar. It's also a tonar. I have a tonar that's made of leather. What I liked the most was that one, but that's again just for my turntable. This thing I have just fits on and it clamps down. So it clamps down easily. The record doesn't slide anywhere. This is anti-vibration, so a collet and special glass.
Do you think, like I do, that it sounds better here?
Well, I think so, yes. Yes, it's better.
But there are certain things about vinyl.
There are a lot of things on vinyl, for example, where, for example, there's a beautiful middle part. And for example, I compared Agnetha. Yeah, I took Agnetha. Yeah, here it is on CD and on vinyl. So I have the Swedish Agnetha. The Swedish Agnetha, I mean, to put it this way, it's the first pressing. I'm not really a fan of those first 10th or 15th pressings. A record is a record. So here's Agnetha. It sounds better on vinyl than on CD. So specifically in the middle, in terms of richness, depth, and how it opens up, you turn it on, and it's like when you open up a bayan, you sit down, turn it on, and everything sounds a bit dry and compressed. Yes, I understand digital, but many people came to me and said, Vitya, play this and that for us. I'm kind of closing off the CD a bit. I say, vinyl is playing. The vinyl is spinning. I'm closing it. And he says, damn, it sounds great. I say, well, that's the CD. So I start to deceive and people get lost. Yeah, because the Griffin has a warm, more tube-like sound.
The Griffin. It's very high class.
Yeah. Well, I have Scorpions there, not Mikado, not those expensive ones, just ordinary ones. Ordinary hi-fi gear, ordinary isn't real. Set all of this up.
There's no such thing as ordinary.
I just set all of this up. Again, even without these stupid things. Let whoever wants to laugh, there is equipment of a more or less high class. When you take these stupid things, start moving them back here, and all your music starts moving in the speaker. This is how it goes. It moves like this. Let whoever wants to say whatever they want. Here it moves, both on the amplifier and here. Only in front, nothing behind. Recently, a guy I know called me. He was consulting about how to set it up. These little things on the speaker. They told him 2 in the back, 1 in the front. I say, listen, either the consultants have gone extinct or something else. How are you going to set it up? I say, well, let's just experiment. I say, you have 3 of them set up. They say, take them, set them up, and invite someone over and let them move you with their hand. And when he started, he set the line up, began moving the 3 pieces forward. The music became clearer and clearer. And when he pushed them forward, the music started to play harmoniously. And the notes popped out, right? And he's sitting there saying, damn, I called the consultant, and the consultant told me to put 2 in the front. I say, come on, just go through it yourself. Yeah, you just go through all of this. You set up the speakers yourself and move the 3 around. Or just move the 3 back. Well, I just can't get 3 to work. I used to have top-tier speakers. Now I'm just going to set up something more powerful.
All right, Victor. So what do you think about replacing something in your system? Maybe even in some, I don't know, dreams. For example, I dream getting myself a signature like the 801, which cost around, no, if it were like that.
Could you replace it? Like a financial foundation. Not just a financial foundation, but maybe, for example, try to change, like get a more powerful amplifier, like the 333. Yeah, maybe, yeah. Try to change, yeah. Well, and try to,
What about an Accuphase? Don't you want that?
but Acophase, no, only Griffon. No Griffon or the 6800. That one isn't available either.
The 6800 is not being produced.
Well, yeah, it's not being produced.
But there are things for sale.
Yeah, they're for sale. And maybe speakers like those KEF ones you have.
Reference 5 meters.
Yeah, those.
Amazing speakers.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, have crazy bass. Well, I'm starting with the basics, yeah.
They would be approximately about 1 meter 80.
Listen, well, the 333 won't work for them anymore. They need, well, I even connect a 500 watt amp and I feel like it's not enough. We need at least...
No, it could very well be that they're... No, it could very well be that you're saying it right. Maybe the 333. Well, is the 333 at 300 watts or 350?
333, right? Yeah, the 333 is at 8.
No, but still, this is already more or less okay.
This is already a normal mode. Well, of course, I agree. With 2 monoblocks, if we're talking about it, 2 Gryphon monoblocks, Gryphon preamp, and...
Well, if that's the case, yeah.
And they have a Scorpion.
Well, again, for apartments, it should be, of course, not 19.7, but 19.8 watts. Change the placement.
And cables, all wire world, and platinum audio, truly premium.
I have platinum audio cables. No, I'm not arguing. They are really magnificent cables. I can't say anything against them. If only I had the money. But I have 2 cables of 3 meters each for the speakers. That's about how much? $500,000, I guess.
Yeah, well, even more.
Even more. These are for the speakers.
For the speakers, no, it's something over $1 million.
It's even over $1 million.
Right now, the power cables are in place. So I just sold the platinum audio. I have all the power cables in my system as platinum audio. They are made of drawn monocrystalline silver. They are made at the factory, the same place where Siltec is made, as far as I remember. But Siltec, the double and triple crown models, they cost just an insane amount of money.
I wanted to give you a gift. Here you go. The Macintosh branded mug.
Just that, thank you.
Yes, here is the branded mug. So it's not just a joke or anything, it's actually with an amplifier. Here is the Macintosh branded mug. It's real.
Yes, friends.
This is a real branded mug.
Where did you get like this?
The branded one came from Japan.
Wow.
Yes, this is the Macintosh branded mug. No, it's real. This is nothing like that. It's nothing. It's all made of marble, specially.
What you gift?
Yes, I'm giving you the mug, yes.
Well, why not? You see, that's what it means to be a person who...
I just wanted to show...
Kind spirit. Thanks a lot, Victor.
I wanted to show that I used to know... You're welcome. I knew the director of the Morant's company. Here was the branded store. He left this for me when he was already resigning, yeah. This is the World Cup in football. We're there...
Yes.
Well, here it is, the World Cup in football. Here are all the labels. Here they are all... Well, this is an exhibition, yes, from the exhibition. Listen, well, just a little bit. No, this is a respected person. This is a respected one. Old Joe Cocker, Pink Floyd.
I agree. But unfortunately, the youth today don't listen to that anymore. We are already, let's say, a fading generation.
AC/DC, I just wanted to say a little about the AC/DC collection. I have a little bit of branded Blu-ray. I just left some DVDs. Well, here are the SSHM discs, super SSHM discs. You know, they're quite expensive, like K2 and various others. Here is vinyl. There's a mix of vinyl. So there are both depulped and everything. I wanted to take the CDs after all. I'll take the dub vinyl for myself. But again, I got this a long time ago from Fomin back at the warehouse at Gagarin Square in Moscow. They have a warehouse there. I got a branded t-shirt and this American exclusive disc from them. But honestly, I'm just putting on AC/DC again. Here it is in this box. Damn, well, it plays like this. I brought the vinyl, 3 AC/DC vinyls. I'm putting it on, well, it's not it. Well, it's not it, it's just not it. And here I am. I don't even want the CDs, many CDs. I don't even want to get them on vinyl. Maybe now the golden ones have come out on CD. Well, again, what's the point of having it again? I also don't understand many of them. They have CDs, like the first press, repaired CDs, vinyl, some second or third press vinyl. I don't need that. The second, third, or 50th press. Honestly, I'm just saying, I don't know, I have some new press vinyl, right? Now, I'm going to draw your attention. Here's a new press vinyl. Yeah, let anyone who wants say that it's poorly recorded. This was recorded, but it was recorded exactly at that time. It came out then. So, how is it recorded? It's just recorded amazingly.
These were always written.
No, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Here I found a little record. Here, my favorite drummer, an old drummer, Max Roach, an old drummer.
Friendship.
Yes, yes, yes. The record, it's a Japanese record. I would never trade it, not for the first press, not for the 99th press, not for any America, none at all. Why? It's made for Italy, but it was printed purely in Japan, so it's very expensive. It costs $65, but it's recorded in such a way that with this record, the old one from 56 or 65, I won't lie, it's not that great. It's been mastered by GVC. As the GVC Victor company has done the mastering. This record was released in 2002, and the record is from 56. It's recorded in such a way, guys, that it's just amazing. The drummer sounds so natural in the apartment that I've never heard anything like it. I don't need that first press or any 10th record from the end or the 15th. It just has to sound right. I'll tell you more. A little broadcast. I wanted to buy a Phil Collins record on vinyl, the very first one, the very first Phil Collins. I collected 5 records. The first record is English, German, Dutch, American, and French. Yeah, I invited 4 people, well, I thought, just for the sake of curiosity. It's just that curiosity has kicked in. I think, let me put on the first one, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and when we played the French record, it sounded so good that all those English first presses, American, Portuguese, Spanish, what all the others were like, I don't know, I can't say. And I honestly say that I've come to love them more. Even when I come across some French records, I tend to collect them more because they sound more refined. I'm not saying that maybe the first press sounds better. Maybe it sounds muffled, maybe it's dry, or maybe the bass is somewhere lost in some fog in the wood or behind the curtain or behind the burlap.
Why is that? Why do all these nuances have such an impact? So it turns out you have to listen to everything.
You definitely have to listen. Out of the 5 records, I chose the French one, and all the guys were sitting there, and in unison they said, yes, it sounds more refined, somehow more musical. You're right, it sounds more musical. Yeah, more musical, more like a score. It's exactly these little details that come out. You put on, for example, an English record, and there's fog. Just fog. Do you understand? So it seemed like, yeah, you grab it, and everyone is running around England, but what is England really? It doesn't give anything. I'm saying it again, when it comes to jazz, I would only collect these records, just these.
Japan.
Yes, exactly. The Japanese ones, they sound absolutely amazing. On the same wavelength. I'm not saying that it will sound more natural, maybe more, I don't know, something like that. But it's recorded for my personal ear. It sounds more pliable. It has a different sound. I'm saying it, again, I often tell people when they come with some jazz, they play their jazz, for example. From 56, they put on something where, well, Charlie Chaplin, right? And when I put on that record, I say, I have one from 56 too. And he asks, what do you have there?
By the way, I completely agree with you. I collect Japanese editions myself, but I don't have any vinyl. I sold it. There was a Regaplaner 8.9. Oh, my God, the 10th. But still, in a direct comparison, I found that, well, how should I put it? I already knew this, that streaming sounds better. Well, I have both CDs and streaming, but I have a high-end streaming setup. No, well, if it's expensive, then of course, yeah, it's expensive. There's no discussion about that. I play Cubist title and everything is good. With vinyl, yeah, there is, again, you said it right. There's this little nuance. Wait, when you hear that middle part, because I played Depeche Mode's latest album, Momentum Aurea, for example. Song Just Again, on vinyl and on streaming, Tidal or Cubase. You can easily switch in real time. You switch the sources, you adjust the record, and you can quickly evaluate the record and the streaming with just one button. The record has this little charm.
Well, there is, of course, a rich middle.
But there's no bass like that.
No, that won't happen there.
And there's no scene like that, just so finely crafted.
I heard the bass once at an exhibition. It was on vinyl. There were tube amplifiers. I might be lying, but it was a plus. It was still. It was probably 2005 or 2004. There were the Odeon speakers. 66, I can't say. If they were the 36 or some other model. So those big speakers were Odeon with tube equipment and vinyl. So I just came in. My acquaintance was there. I asked him and he said, Vitya, what do you want me to play? I said, hey, do you have a slide? He says, yes. He says, no body flops. And so he played the slide for me. And I sat down. I said, listen, that was the best sound ever. Everything there was so natural. Yeah, there might not have been a pounding bass there, but it was alive. They were in front of me, the band was playing. That was indeed something. You're right. Odeon, yes, I really liked it.
And you have to agree that
Just a little thing I just remembered, I forgot mention a bit, but I always use liquid for the contacts. This is Vandenholm. These are all liquids. These are contacts. So you lubricate contacts, the connectors, the plugs, all those connectors only with Vandenholm liquid.
And do you know about the Nordost liquid?
There's the Nordost liquid, and then there's also, besides that, Cardass.
Does it all make a difference?
Yes, yes, yes. It removes the roughness in the sound, gives it a softness. That velvet quality, it's all there.
Regarding, let's say, the sound of a professional system, again, in the middle of our conversation, you mentioned a phrase that music should sound. If we take professional acoustics like some Genelecs, studio monitors, there's none of that hi-fi, none of enjoyment. There might be music that's more, let's say, correct, dry, but there's no thrill in it. Well, there just isn't any.
Well, I think you just have to.
Yes, and this system really gives you that thrill.
No, you just have to come home, I think, and enjoy your music. You should sit down and drown in it.
Yes.
If the music doesn't drown you, then all that music should just go straight to the trash. That's it. So it's just at the first notes. She should turn it on and be mesmerized, like getting lost in the depth of those two speakers just flying in. It should just play. So it just has to play. To play like this, please, you need a lot of equipment. The first piece of equipment is called the Amphiton amplifier, a really cool amplifier with two 35 AS speakers.
So you mean the new Amphiton now?
No, I took the old equipment, two 35 AS speakers and the Amphiton, and that's all you need. No, well, they played pretty well. Then there's no need to get into the weeds. Then there's no need to get into the weeds. So it will play for 100 years. I press the button, turn the two knobs for high and low, press the tone compensation there, and that's it. The 35 AS is playing.
Listen, well, even the Dienens play well, and the Jews do too.
No, they play, yeah, but they play again with their own money. A specific sound, yeah.
Because, again, I'm not a fan of Japanese sound. I don't like Yamahas. The 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 Yamahas, from what I've listened to, they have their own sound. And I just don't like it. I take a Mac there, for example, and that's a completely different level. It's a different leap already. The same goes for the classes. Again, the classes are gorgeous.
Well, they are good. But that's already a more elite sound. It's more like that.
The Griffin again, right?
Yeah, there are a lot of them, like Boulder and Spectral. There are really many. These pieces of equipment that play very well.
I believe that when it comes to amplification, it's America, Canada, and Europe. Well, once again, it is the same Griffins.
Well, I want to say that even, for example, my friend has a Threshold DS12.
Threshold nice.
Yeah, they play well. They play hard rock.
I know a person who actually switched from Threshold to Filigrane.
Well, I don't know, honestly. Don't know.
What do you think?
Well, I can't say. I don't even know what filigrane is, actually.
Amplifiers like that?
Well, maybe I don't know.
I don't understand how you can switch from Threshold to Filigrane. Maybe there was something wrong with that Threshold.
Maybe it was repaired.
But Thresholds are great. Well, we also have a respected person who has Thresholds. Right.
Well, yes.
I heard.
No, well, it plays well. Why not? It plays really well, yes.
So what?
Well, I guess we'll wrap it up here.
Thank you very much. I think that for people it will be such an amazing experience, a journey into an audiophile system where everything is thought out down to the smallest detail. This is my approach, friends, because I follow the same rule. Starting from the room and ending with little details like these. Unfortunately, I haven't gotten to those things yet, but they
won't fit for you. They're on the birch logs.
Yes, they won't fit on Bowers, first of all.
They won't fit. No, they won't fit, yes.
But I, like you, use both Taoki and Nordost under the equipment.
Of course, it won't be a problem.
It's a big impact. I use specifically designed Gaia feet carefully and precisely under the speakers because it doesn't sound right on the stock feet.
Well, clear.
Absolutely not the same. The bass traps are also acoustic like yours, so we're on the same wavelength. But I respect KEF, and Griffon. Well, Griffon can't sound bad. These are people who really know their stuff. This is the entry-level Griffon, let's say. It's like the entry-level Rolls-Royce. Well, that's basically it. Yes. Well, the entry-level is for Rolls-Royce, Well, it's not Denon, not Yamaha, not Pioneer.
Well, for example, there was an exhibition, I believe, if I recall correctly, back then in 2010, where the Griffon Attila was set up. such as along with the Mikado, and it was quite remarkable. And there were speakers for 48,000 euros. Atlantic, they had a new lineup. They set up the Zeppelin. There were 5 or 7 of us there. We just came out of that room in awe. That's right. The Zeppelin played, the second Zeppelin, Led Zeppelin was there. The second one was set up, and they played Moby Dick, and I can't remember what else, but it's been a long time. It just sticks in your memory. We came out of there and said, listen, the Zeppelin sounded better at the exhibition than anything else. We just came out specifically, I'm not talking about other compositions, but Led Zeppelin played in such a way that those speakers, I don't remember if they weighed 89 kilograms, but I remember the Atlantic speakers, they cost, well, almost 50,000 euros. 50,000 euros is, well, how much is that? 2 apartments?
Well, yes.
Well, again.
Well, you have to pay for good sound. Last question. Balanced connection, or RCA?
Basically, I say right away, balanced is better.
Completely supports it.
Yes, completely. Why balanced? Because it seems to me that the PRSA has a slightly softer sound support. In terms of balance, it's more refined, deeper, and a bit more aggressive. I just said it in Russian. I won't dwell on it. I stand by every word. It's just a bit sharper, more detailed, more refined, and a bit clearer. I'm just not going to throw around scientific phrases. And RCA also has a decent sound, but it still has some minor shortcomings, RCA. For example, let's say in terms of the circuit or circuitry, that the balanced signal passes through faster. In terms of circuitry, I think there's a bit of a delay going through those filters. It transforms some kind of signal.
I agree. Victor, thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me. I can't tell you anything more. If anything, I definitely think we'll go ahead and shoot the second part if the video gets 50,000 views. Dear friends, please like this video, absolutely subscribe, and share it with your friends. And we'll shoot the second part with the homeowner, Victor, and we'll find ourselves in Audiophile's ultimate nirvana